How we doing, guys? Thank you so much for staying up late. I don't know what I don't know how long we're gonna be going. Baby boy, Benny Ben, but I'm trying to get a wash in a bar towels before my job tomorrow, and so we're still waiting on the washing machine to open up, unfortunately. Ooh. So yeah, he looks a lot the same as he's always looked, but look at those, look at the improvement in the eyes, people. Look at he's like the TV show Friday Night Lights. Clear eyes, full of hearts, can't lose. Right, baby blue? Beep blue. Here, let me put it on. Let me put it on bad audio so you can hear Baby Blue in addition to me. Which, of course, I remembered to bring my case for my headphones. Ugh. Louis, boy. I wish. Hey, Missy Boop. All right, where's my case? Yes. All right. No, no, go away. Shh. Baby Blue. So yeah, he still has feline caliche virus, which I believe he will be keeping for the rest of his life. And that light sniffle, the vets told me, is basically he was given that at birth from his mother. Um, so he will have the sniffle, I believe, for the rest of his life. But as far as the chlamydia and the mycoplasma, that's all cleared up. As you can see, the door is open. Um, I'm not, he's not fully free to roam the house yet, just because he's still integrating with the other cats, and I feel, that you want to make sure they get off on a right foot, and if you leave them and they start fighting and you don't know what the heck happened, it's bad. Also, hey everybody, good evening. Like the video, please. Anyways, so yeah, Baby Blue, after a long 3-week quarantine in this tiny little room. I really don't know how to respond to that, Luigi, bro. If you want to engage in bestiality, that's on you, but not in the United States of America. And not with my cat. Well, I mean, are you sure you're joking? Because that is how you kind of started off, and first impressions a lot. You know? If I came up to you and said, hey, I'm about to fuck your mom, you'd probably think I'm a real motherfucker, wouldn't you? Even if I said, nah, ha, 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 just kidding. Baby Blue. Baby Blue. So yeah. Baby Blue is... Look at this Baby Blue, he's such a good boy. The cat's name is Baby Blue, because he's a little baby and he has blue eyes. Hi, Alyssa. Thank you. He is very cute. He's been in quarantine in this tiny little room for the past 3 weeks because he was being treated for chlamydia. But he's free and he's healthy and he's free to come out whenever he wants. Unfortunately, there are other cats in the house. So, this one is a real troublemaker. Not usually, but she's still bonding with Baby Blue. Fred is the ultimate peacemaker, so he's to be determined. Ben is a troublemaker, so still working. Emily has not really been introduced to Baby Blue yet because Baby Blue stays there and Emily stays there, and never the two shall meet for some reason. I don't know why that is. Weesh, 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 is being a little bit of a menace, but the real menace... Oh, Sunny. Sunny, Sonny, would you like to tell the ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary people in between in that beautiful Technicolor rainbow how you've been so antagonistic to poor baby Blue? You just hiss and hiss and hiss and hiss, and that's why you're the foster cat and he's being adopted. Yeah, they are the cutest. They are so very cute. Also, here, you guys get to experience the late night Louisa feeding. So Louisa has stomatitis, as I've mentioned before, and she only has 4 teeth at the moment, which is a little bit unfortunate, but you know what? She used to live underneath a bunch of BMWs at a body shop, so this is way more better even if she only has the 4 teeth. But she, at midnight, which it almost is, gets special extra food because, like I said, she can't really do the dry food. So we're gonna feed her her special meal, which is just the extra stuff that's in the bottom of it. It's the swag of the situation. So let me. Oh no. Yeah, Weesh, go say hi to the ladies and gentlemen while I. Louisa! Sun girl, I still love you. You're not being very nice to baby Blue, and I don't love that. Also, I actually told this to my mother because my mom is also a cat fan. I've made her a cat fan, if I'm honest. But my mom basically said, "No, no, Weesh, no, no." I basically, my mom liked Sunny a lot, but I don't know what I'm saying. I'm very ADD right now. I worked an 8-hour shift, in fairness to me today. Weesh, 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 weesh. Alright, we're gonna leave Weesh alone. Hey, Sun Girl. Bye, Sun Girl. Alright. Alright, I've been going for a few minutes. At some point, I am gonna need to, Benny! I am gonna need to run because, so here's the situation. Let me go downstairs and we'll pick some locks for a little while. Ben needs fleet treatment. I have no money right now. Give me all your money. Wee-hee, boop. So yeah. I'm very tired. We're gonna do like relaxo mode right now. I at some point need to go back to so the situation with life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness was that I was, as I mentioned in one of the first chats upstairs, I was gonna go put a bunch of bar towels in the laundry room. Whoops! Sorry, I was gonna go put a bunch of bar towels in the laundry room, but unfortunately all the washing machines are full, and I'm actually waiting specifically for one where if you don't hit any buttons or change any settings, the wash is actually free, and my broke ass wants free wash. Like, factually speaking, I don't have enough money in quarters right now, and obviously it's way too late to go to the bank. But I do not have enough money in quarters for both the wash and the dry. But I have enough for the dry, so I need to wait for the washing machine that's free. It's not actually free, but it is free. But the apartment manager is on the other side of this wall. Deliciousness. So, in the meantime, let's go check in on Mr. Baby Blue. Oh my god, wait. Look at my pores. This is what happens after a day of working as a chef. You're just like, ugh. You're gassed. Baby Blue. Or no, this isn't Baby Blue. This is Baby Boy. See, I even warned in one of my other videos there's going to be so much confusion when I've got Baby Blue and Baby Boy. What am I going to do with the babies? Just a bunch of babies. A bunch of... Can I see the baby? Baby Blue. So yeah, I'm starting to finally get to the point where, like, yesterday I left the door open to the quarantine room for the entire night. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not fully sure if he was ready for that or not, but sometimes you need to make progress. Sometimes you need to take a leap of faith with the cats and be like, you know what? I've got very good cats in my apartment. I think it'll be okay. And was it perfect? No, but I think it went okay. Also, folks, I hate to say it, but I think there's a non-zero chance I am up really late o'clock tonight. Because if I don't get my towel in the washing machine soon, that's gonna suck. You know who doesn't suck? Baby Blue is 0% suck. He is awesome. Baby Blue! Thank you so much, True Builder. Like, yeah, Baby Blue wants here. Baby Blue, like the post by True Builder. Boom, beep. This is a good boy. He's such a good boy. Okay, big good boy wants to go. Thank you, Baby Blue. Oh my God, peeps. I don't know if your cats are shedding quite as much as mine, but holy smokes alone. Yeah. Ew, that was gross. I'm sorry. That wasn't supposed to happen with a... Bleh. Max professional YouTubing. Y'all can't take me anywhere. Okay, we've actually been live for 15 minutes, so if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to point the camera at Baby Blue for a little while, and you guys get to hang out with Baby Blue, and I'm gonna run up and see if the washing. I'm gonna see if I can get all this cat hair out of my face because I'm a dummy, and I'm gonna go see if the washing machine is free up. But you guys get to watch. A very kitty and a toilet, but mostly the kitty. All right, y'all. I'll be right back. We made it! Hi, Danny Jarrell. Hi, Sela Zila. Alright, great news, guys. My bar towels have successfully been placed in the washing machine. And it was free. Baby Blue! Hi, Silvana. Oh my god, it is late o'clock at your end of the woods. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know if you saw the most recent upload, but yes, Baby Blue is officially free from Hi, Ashley Decker. So this cat, Ashley, has actually been in quarantine in this tiny little bathroom for the past 3 weeks because I recently took him off the streets and we took him to the vet, which the subscribers were so helpful in paying for. Um, and we found out that he had feline chlamydia. So he's been in quarantine. But now his tests have come back negative. He's free to integrate into the rest of the with the rest of the cats. True Builder, thank you so much for everything, man. And no worries. I'd probably be going to sleep too, but I really need to get these bar towels washed before I go to work tomorrow. So that's why I'm up, and I figure if I'm gonna be up, I might as well stay up and chat with y'all, and that'll be something better than me just like sitting down and smoking weed and falling asleep and then waking back up several hours later going, oh crap, I forgot about my laundry. Um, but yeah, Sylvana, thank you so much for stopping by. It is late o'clock, but look at this baby blue. Baby blue. But yeah, he's free to explore. He's been exploring a little bit. Like the photo I put as the like screensaver photo was actually him. He made it to the second floor of my apartment and he was exploring by the door. It also turns out he likes toy. Um, but yeah, he's still kind of integrating into with the rest of the cats in the house. So, when I go to work, for example, the door is closed. Um, or when I go to sleep, I really need to like see how the cats are interacting. If they seem pretty peaceful, I'll try and leave it open. Thank you, Art Girl. Yeah. Baby boy. Hey baby. Hey baby boy. 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 Baby boy. Baby boy. Baby boy. And a boop. Mrs. Boop. All right, awesome. Glad you saw it, Savannah. Yeah, it was. It's great. But it's great to be able to have the door open for Baby Blue now. So, I'm waiting for the day that delete. Yeah, it is his spot for now. I'm waiting, but I want him to explore. Where's Christopher Walken? Really explore the space. I gotta have more cowbell. You're gonna want that cowbell. Um, yeah, Art Girl. I'm a single millennial, so of course I have fur babies. But yeah, I'm kind of I'm kind of waiting for. Yeah, he does, and I kind of want him to explore. Hold on. We're not directly in front of cats at the moment, so I'm gonna put my AirPods back in so the audio quality is better, and you guys don't need to hear that like it's in the background when I'm using the built-in microphone. But yeah, I yeah, he does have enough space, but like I want him to be able to explore. I want him to start integrating with the other cats slowly but surely, because like they've been able to smell each other while he's been in quarantine, because of course they have, but they haven't been able to like, yeah, exactly, Savannah. So like, yeah, so like I went to work, like, I was supposed to be live streaming with you guys earlier at like oh, all right, single people who are not boomers or zoomers unite. Um, No hating on the boomers or the zoomers unless you do shitty stuff, in which case I hate both of you. Nah, yeah. So there are at the moment this many cats in the apartment. Um, Officially I pay rent for this many, so that's why I'm like a little cagey. Um, oh sorry, with the paraphernalia. Oh no, paraphernalia. Who cares? I live in California. It's legal where I am, and I worked a long 8-hour shift today at work, and now I'm taking care of cats
I'm allowed to smoke the marijuana. It's okay. Also, we're like 20 something minutes into the stream. What are they gonna do? Demonetize me? The stream's not even monetized. What are they gonna do? I already put it as it's not this stream is not designed for children. Plant. Which number though, Silvana? That's the real question. 7 or 3? Or 73? Yeah. The good thing I'm broke because if I try to avoid the lottery as a whole, like back when I used to work, um, 7 I don't know why I didn't think of that, but yeah, back when I worked at a fish restaurant, the guys, um, um, this the, so for those of you who don't know, here, since we're not doing anything, we'll put it on face cam so you can look at my beautiful face. Look at this, this sheer model. I know all of you are like quaking in your pants right now, looking at my face. But regardless of that, but when professionally, what I do is I'm a chef, I'm or a cook, depending on the job. Uh, but but yeah, one of the earlier restaurants I worked at before I was yeah, speaking of which, I really need to cut like the back of my hair because like if I don't cut it soon, the bosses at Universal Studios are gonna start being like, put a hairnet on, and I'm gonna be like, but I don't want to. But like I can't give the bosses the chance to be like, put a hairnet on, because if they say put a hairnet on, next they're gonna say put a beard net on. And a hairnet is one thing, but a beard net is like it, I don't know what the male to female to non-binary ratio is of you people watching right now, but for those of you who have not worn a beard net, it sucks. It's the worst. I feel bad. One of the cooks at Universal is from Tongva, and he's got like this big bushy beard. Like I've got a fairly close cut beard. This dude is like a big bushy, like you know, David Letterman post retirement thing, and he always has to wear the beard, and I feel so bad for him. But you know what? It is what it is. But yeah, what was I saying? I don't know. Sorry. It's late in the day, and my ADD is going crazy. Um, excuse me. Pardon me. Sorry. My pull up in that Rari. Um, what was it? Okay, I already had my my beard net rant, which was kind of pointless. Beard nets. Yeah, sorry, Art Girl. If you're new to the channel, I generally think I'm entertaining. I don't want to be too presumptuous, so I'm going to leave that to the viewers to decide whether my content is good or not. It's pretty cool. But yeah, one thing you're going to have to get used to is I just brain fart sometimes, and I'm just like, "Hey, what's going on?" and forget what I was talking about. Oh, right, 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 right. All right, thank you, Silvana. All right. I was telling a story. Oh yeah, I got sidetracked by working at Universal Studios. Um, So the first place before I went a chef, I worked front of house. Um, but and there were and the guy and you know all the cooks were Latino at this restaurant. And but and I was the official güero on staff. Like I'm the white Anglo-Saxon guy, or I'm not Anglo-Saxon actually, but whatever. I'm the white dude who speaks decent Spanish. Hello, C4PT1NM. How are you? Or wait, or is it? Oh, it's Captain M, right? Is that what it's supposed to be, Captain M? Anyways, better than me trying to figure out people who like have their name written in Cyrillic, and I'm like backwards N, backwards R3X. But like, yeah. So like, but during breaks in the in at work where there's like, nothing to do, all the dishes are done, you're just sitting around, they'd be like, "Whittle, whittle," and they'd say, and they'd be like, "Hey," they'd be like, they'd be like, they'd tell me to go to the liquor store, "Vete para loquera y compramos loterías," and I'd come home with like, come back to the restaurant with like a sheet full of lottery. I'll be like, "For Jose, for Eduardo, for Marlon, one for me, one for this dude, one for you," and it's like, holy crap, and nobody's a winner. Because that's just how scratchers work. Um, but yeah, I'm also kind of like a little sus about like the whole concept of scratchers being like a way to get extra money from the poor. Like, you might get lucky. Like, how should? What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is, I think, is that it is a ripoff. But it's not just that it's a ripoff, because we all know it's a ripoff. We all know that gambling is inherently a ripoff unless you're really good at gaming the system, and even then, it's you know. Um, but what's rippy offy of it about the lottery specifically to me is that I very rarely see people who are well to do really degenerate gambling with the lottery. Like, the people who I see playing scratchers, the people who I see going, lucky day, lucky day, lucky day, they're all from the middle to lower end of the socioeconomic spectrum. And these are people who tend to get money back in taxes because you know, um, and these are people who tend to live paycheck to paycheck. And I'm kind of what it's not just that it's a ripoff, it's that it's a ripoff that shouldn't exist, because in a normal society, we would have taxed the rich enough that we don't need a lottery to make up for the tax deficit. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? I'm like, workers of the world unite and all that. Where's Soyuz, Nirosimi, Respubliks, Svobodnych, etc. But you know, while I'm here singing the Internationale and trying to get the workers of the world to unite, that's what I'm saying. Is in a well, first off, I'm wondering, in a sane world, why is our state running a gambling ring? Like, that's number one. But number two, why is it even a thing? Because, like I said, I mean, look, I'm in California. Some of the richest people in the world live in California. Uh, Incoming kitty cat. Um, boop, hey boop, hey boop, hey boop. That's a good boop. That's a boop. That girl's a boop. She's a boop. She's boop. What's funny is Emily is like my shyest cat, so you guys see her way more than any other human does. Like, in general, when people come and visit me, like my friends or my family, they see Fred the orange cat and they see Ben the void. Every other cat is like, I am not here, and you cannot see me, for I am way too sneaky for thee. There is no cat. I'm feeling very comfy right now with this play. Emily is like, yeah, so she's a one person cat. Thankfully, it's me. Um, but yeah, the other great thing about Emily is she's like one of the lappiest of lap cats. for me for me exclusively. So like if I lie down with this blanket on this sofa right now, it is a matter of time before she comes and lies on my stomach, which is great. I love it. But yeah. All right. What else should we schmooze about? Oh, for the lock nerds, which is mostly Elijah right now, but anybody else, y'all might find this semi cool. All right. In other news, in addition to cats, I pick locks. Um, I'm the lock picking meower, not the lock picking lawyer. I'm a two times college dropout, so I'm not a lawyer, but I am a meower. But anyways, so prior to my grandma passing away last week and the whole situation and all that, and you guys know I went to Lovelock Bridge in Brooklyn and I got some souvenirs and all that, and I also got some love or not love locks, I got lock locks from my grandpa's garage, may he rest in peace. So I got some like meaningful souvenirs to me. Um, which specifically relate to a hobby that I do, but also from my family or, from relatives who have passed. So I'm trying to find meaning and fun kind of at the same time. But that's kind of, um, so, you know, um, so we did the live where we made a key for this guy, which now she's working. Or we didn't make the key because I bricked the original cylinder because I'm a genius. But we picked this one off the bridge in Brooklyn, and now we have it in Los Angeles with working key. And I mean, since I'm holding it right now, we might as well try and pick it open, right? Not a difficult lock to pick, although I did make it more difficult than it was initially because I added a bunch of spools. And indeed I cleaned it. It looks beautiful right now. Um, but there was something I wanted to show you guys from before my grandma passed away. Because before my grandma passed away, and I got to take a flight, although it wasn't for the best of reasons, but like I said, it was a meaningful reason. My parents, um, went to Italy for the wedding of a cousin. Um, and so of late, because I can't afford to travel, obviously, but my parents, being of retirement age, they travel quite a bit. I know there's one pin that's like, I am not set. Oh, Mustang, thank you for asking. So Big V still is a little mangy, open lock. Um, he still is a little mangy. They all need flea treatments. Just the biggest issue right now is that, I mean, flea treatments, as far as like, you know, I mean, short of taking the cats to the vet, flea treatments for the colony is one of the more expensive things that I do. And I mean, money's kind of tight for me personally right now. Um, just because of the just because of a couple of things between my grandmother passing away and I missed a couple of shifts that I could have made money, and I also was kind of a dummy, and I neglected for the pay period from July 16th, or not July, sorry, June 16th through the 30th. Um, I forgot to submit my hours and receipts for my groceries to my boss at the assisted living facilities. So I'm like missing over $1,000 that should be mine, and as a result, I'm really like I am le broke right now. Please send me all your money to the PayPal linked in my description if you want to. You don't have to. But let me get back to the initial thing that I was saying. So my parents go to go to Italy, and I've been doing this new thing. When I was a kid, I, I I used to collect foreign money because I traveled a lot too as a kid. So like I would collect money from every foreign country that I went to, and I would whenever my parents, especially my dad, my dad's kind of addicted to travel. It's like he's never smoked weed in his life. He's never done drugs. He's never smoked. He barely drinks. His my strange addiction, David's dad, he's addicted to travel, and I think it's a side effect of childhood trauma. We can get into that later if you want. Point is, my dad, whenever he would travel, I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, when you're going to insert country here, can you bring me back some money from insert same country here?" Um, but first off, at this point, a lot of the countries that they're going to, they're in Europe. Every euro looks the same. So it's like, you know, like, and they're, like I have a €5 note, I have a €10 note, I've got a €20 note, I might have a €50 note, I might not. I mean, and these are notes that are in excellent condition because if you're going to collect, don't collect the swag of dollar bills. But if I don't have a €50 note, a €50 note for me to collect for my own collection is one thing, but asking somebody, even when it's your parents, "Hey, can you go and get €50," which is, let's say, it's roughly 50 American US dollary they're not dollary dues. That's what Elijah spends. Dollary dues are what Elijah spends. We spend greenbacks, buckaroos, schmackos. Um, but if you're gonna ask somebody to go buy something worth $50 that is literally a banknote, essentially. It's a $50 bill from another country. Uh, it's a big ask, you know. So I can't be like, "Hey, when you guys go to Europe, can you bring me back like a €50 note and a €100 note in mint condition or as mint as possible from the ATM machine?" Eh. So my new request of late has been telling my parents, who do not pick locks for the record, "Hey, when you go to insert country here, can you bring me back a lock?" So a couple years back, my parents went to England. I was like, "Hey, can you bring me back a lock?" Kind of was hoping for like some sort of like Squire lever lock or whatever, but they ended up bringing me back like a Sterling round body lock, open within 5 seconds. It had the flattest fitting in the world and all standard pins. Really, whatever. And then my parents often go to Mexico because Mexico is very close to California, and I'd be like, "Hey, can you bring back locks from Mexico?" Still hasn't happened yet, but remains to be seen. But um, so I said, go to Italy. And Italy, you know, is a massive lock industry and a lot of companies that make really cool locks. Just off the top of my head, iFam, Iseo, Chisa, Biro. That's four right off the top of my head. I'm sure there's others. I just, you know, can't think of them. So, but yeah, my parents from Italy brought me back Italian padlocks. Chisa! I have a graded specimen 2001 banknote from North Korea. That's tight. So I actually found in my room when I was in high school, like a bunch of notes, um, in excellent condition. And almost every single one of these notes were kind of old, and many of them were currencies that are no longer in circulation. So like I don't know how the heck this ended up in my bedroom because I didn't get it for sure. But I found a one Israeli shekel note, um, which, if you think of it like the most surface level, is not anything to get excited about. But when you realize that the current Israeli shekel is actually the second shekel, that's why they call it the new shekel. And the first shekel was actually discontinued because of hyperinflation. And I have a one old shekel, not new shekel, old shekel banknote in almost mint condition. Is it worth anything? No. Like I said, they switched to the new shekel because the old shekel experienced hyperinflation. So one old shekel is probably worth a fraction of a penny at this point. But for cool factor, or like I've got some Italian. Speaking of Italy, actually, I think I might have some Italian lira from before they switched over to the euro. Um, that's what my parents went to Scotland recently, and I do have British pounds, but my parents actually asked me about the British pounds, and I literally said no. I've got British pounds from when Liz was still alive. I don't want Charles's pig face on any British pounds that I have to look at. But I should have asked for the Scottish banknotes. I knew I happen to be one of those guys who knows that Scotland uses its own different. Well, it uses the standard British pounds also, but like the Royal Bank of Scotland and Scotia Bank or whatever they print their own bills. Oh my God, Elijah! Now I'm feeling so dumb, dude. Makes you poop. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. Oh yeah. So let me see what else I got. I've got some. Do I have anything else from Europe that has now been replaced? But I think I might have some cash from like France. No, I don't have any francs. I don't know, whatever. I have money from not America. But anyway, but yeah, this Chisa pat here. I'll flip the thing so the writing's not inverted. Look at this really cool Chisa, 60 millimeter, big, yeah, big honkin' 60 millimeter with a beautifully executed Yale style keyway. Look at that, really nice, tight, and paracentric. Beautiful, big, chonky brass lock. Um, and slightly less beautiful, but this Vero 50 millimeter. Those are pretty cool. Or the standard like VR2 or VR7 or whatever it is keyway. But, so it's a little bit more boring, but still very cool. And like my parents gave this to me, and they remembered the experience with the British lock, and they were like, "We hope you don't pick this super duper quick." And I said, "Well, I mean, I don't know. We'll give it a shot." And then I went and opened it, and it did open super quick. And of course, it won't open super quick now because I'm on camera. And picking on camera is very different from picking uh when you're just lounging. But oh, Paco's a great name to give to a cat, Silvana. I like that. Yeah. I wish I had more of my foreign currency collection with me. It's in my parents' house because life is weird sometimes. Hold on, I'm gonna switch to a different turning tool because that one I don't like. Well, I do like it, but just it's too narrow. Um, but yeah, it would have been really. I would have. I'd love someday if there's interest to like I'll show off my foreign currency collection. It's not like crazy, but there's some Paco Taco. That's great. Yeah. No, yeah, it's not the collection to end all collections, but it's not nothing. Yeah, a few years back, my Dodgers had an all-star reliever named Steven Rodriguez who went by Paco. Threw a great changeup. Yeah, no lie, I like the polymer banknotes a lot. Um, they're not. Oh my God, 16 pounds. He weighs the same as two Luisas. But yeah, my former sous chef Jamie, who actually watched these guys while I was away for the funeral, but he has a cat. Officially, his name is Gato, just cat. But he's like everyone calls him Big Cat because he's a big cat. Um, this dude, Jamie told me when I went and picked up my house keys or whatnot from her. She's like, "Yeah, he's about 23 pounds last time we took him to the vet." I'm like, "Holy shit, he weighs the same as three Luisas." That's a lot of kitty catto. Yeah, big. Like I think my heaviest cat is probably Ben, and he's probably like 10 at most. Yeah, I love the floopers with longer hair. Like, don't get me wrong, I love all the kitties, but the big, luxurious, long floofers, hell yeah. Speaking of floofers, oh, I would have thought Ben loves to be up here and like above the shelves, and I'm surprised he's not there right now. Speaking of which, baby boo. Wait, okay, wait. Okay, for those of us who who use freedom units, 13 kilograms is roughly 26 pounds. Am I correct? It's roughly 2 pounds to a kilogram, right? Or is it half a pound? Oh my god! No, it's 2 pounds to a kilogram, roughly. Oh wait, a cow wants to know: is there Bigfoots? 28 pounds. Dios mío. Es un chingo. Sorry for those of you who speak Spanish. I know I cursed just now. I don't care. No me importa. All right. I'm fluent in cursing bilingually. Baby blue. Bigfoots. I mean, look at those feet. That's some big feet. He's not a big. He could be a Bigfoot. Nah, he put the feet away. Also, in other tasks, I've got this stack of dirty dishes from the colony that I need to wash. That's for tomorrow. Mm, But yeah, look at this baby boy. No, actually, that's the great news. That's actually the great news. Baby Blue, he's still chilling in here because he's like not fully comfortable exploring it. But no, he's now negative for the chlamydia. He's free. He can explore. Eh, we're still in the very early stages of sorry ADD. Why is there a rubber glove here? Um, yeah, he's still very early in the stages of integrating with the other cats, but yeah, he's no longer in quarantine. He's free to explore. Now, that being said, because he's such still, yeah, I think a little bit, man. I think a little bit. And the other thing is because he's still very early in the like I always jumble this word up acclimatization process. Um, because he's still very early on. Like when I went to work today, door closed because like that's the thing. If I go to if I'm asleep and I leave the door open and suddenly I hear that'll wake me up. I'm very attuned to the sound of cats and I wake and those that wakes me up. But if I'm at work, I won't hear. And yes, I do have the spy camera to watch the kitty cats, but A, it doesn't pick up sound, and B, it's primarily to make sure that these guys aren't bullying her. Um, And by these guys, I don't necessarily mean her brother Fred. I mean Ben. Ben is the troublemaker. But yeah, excuse me. I mean, look, he might have a bit of Stockholm syndrome, but at least he's comfy. Like, the one thing I'm trying to understand is why he likes, like, the folded up blanket, but I gave him this big cushy thing, and he's like, "Nah, man, I'm just gonna sit on the corner of the blanket. This is how I do." But yeah, but in other news, yeah, I thought, you know, but in other news, yeah, I think it was really cool of my parents to bring me back from Italy land this really big honkin' Chisa or Sisa, I don't know. And like I said, it's not a difficult pick necessarily. You guys saw me get through it in like under a minute, but like the story is very, very cool. And I mean, who doesn't love a big honkin' brass padlock? Parky would love this thing. I mean, he would love it even more if it had a brass shackle. But yeah, this is. Oh, here, let me take the, let me put it back on the built-in mic so you guys can hear the shackle pop. 19 pounds. Hypocardiomop. Oh yeah. It always sucks to lose the kitties. Shackle pop time.
Ready? All right. First for the Chisa. That makes a decent noise. I'm a dummy and I locked the Vero's keys in with the shackle. Give me a second. But still, 13 years I think is not bad for a large cat. The smaller ones sometimes live really long, but, you know. Neither one of these locks has any, like, spools or security pins, but I do think there's some tapered pins in here for sure. All right, this one was binding the core. But yeah, on the subject of speaking frankly on this one, but on the subject of death, I actually told my therapist when I met with her last week. I said, yeah, I mean, obviously I miss my grandma and I'm sad that she passed away and all that, but like, I feel like I'm taking the death of my grandma a lot better than I took the death of my grandpa when he passed away, or even the death of the most recent cat that I had that died, Thule. Because both. All right, shackle pop time on the Vero. It's not great, but it's not bad. But yeah. But both my grandpa and Thule the cat, they were, they were aging and they were kind of, they weren't as healthy as they were when they were younger, obviously, but like they were aging and they were doing okay, and then all of a sudden they were sick, and then shortly after they were dead, and it was like quick and it was violent and it was traumatic. Whereas my grandma, she lived well into her 90s, and um yeah, and I mean, and I mean, for the past few years it's been very hard to talk with her because she's been kind of a recluse. um You know, and just the grandma that I had, you know, growing up hasn't actually been in her body for quite some time. Um, he was a trooper, but he was diagnosed at 10 years old and he held on for 3 years when they died. Yeah, it's rough, but he had a good. You know, the same thing happened with my Thule. Was before I moved into this apartment, when I was living in my previous house, she actually. So the story with Thule was she was a grandma's cat too. She actually lived most of her life in the apartment that I used to live in. She belonged. My roommate was a guy named Aviv, and it was his grandmother's cat, and his grandmother owned the house, but then she passed away, and the cat stayed in the house, but then I adopted the cat, and yeah, towards the end of her life, she had some kidney issues. She developed asthma, and she had lived a large portion of her life outdoors, which wasn't necessarily my idea, but like it is what it is, and yeah. So like at some point she started hiding more often outdoors and like I couldn't find her. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring her in I'm going to bring her back. I'm going to bring her inside and see if I can treat her. So I gave her I prescribed her the inhaler for a little while, which was not my idea of a good time giving a cat an inhaler. Um but but yeah, she kept going for another year or two with with the meds and whatnot, and then one night she left this room basically, and it was not wanting to be too open about discussing death and all that. Hi, Cop et Duran, but it was kind of traumatic for me because at the time my black cat Ben was being fostered by my parents, and that like um I had gone. My parents were out of town, so I had gone to my parents' house to check in on Ben, and then I came back the next day, and Thule was dead by the litter boxes, and she was alive the night before. So that stuck with me for a really long time. So I'm sorry for those of you who are like wanting to hear me tell jokes and be upbeat, but like I also need to, like, it's my channel. I'm talking about my life and the things that affect me. But yeah, I came back and Thule was just kind of dead and in rigor. So she had been dead for a few hours. She probably died shortly after I left. Um, to go hang out with Ben, and it was like I cried a lot. I to be honest with you, I still cry sometimes when I think of her. But she's been dead for a while, and and like I tell people, when she passed was when I really kicked into high gear with helping the cats on the street, because she she wasn't a street cat, but she had lived outdoors for a long time. She'd been around the street cats, and I was like, Thule's gone, but Thule would want me to help as many cats as I can. So that's one of the reasons I do what I do, and that's one of the reasons that of the cats in this apartment, 5 of them were rescued by me straight off the street. And the ones that weren't are shelter pets. Uh, and for the record, this is not to toot my own horn and say like I'm some great person. I'm not. I just try, and sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail. But I think I you know, but yeah, I mean, I think Smokes Bong hits joint. Exactly. I mean, look, the people and the animals that you love, they never leave you, even in death. You know, and you'll have the memory, you'll have the photos, the videos, you know, whatever. But I think it's important too that when you're experiencing sorrow, and this is not, and for the record, this is not just in regards to um death, but this is also in regards to breakups or divorce or whatever. I've never been divorced, but I mean I've been through a breakup. Anybody who's lived life probably has been through a breakup, and I do, Silvana, I do. But like, I think it's important to to not let the memories of people and animals who are no longer in your life, to not let it become something toxic that poisons you. So that's like that's what I'm saying. Like, I miss Thule every day, even though she's been dead for a few years now. But I feel like if I can help other cats, then that'll make her proud. Um, and yeah, I mean, to an extent, Thule will always be around because I buried her in my parents' backyard. So when I go visit my parents and my parents' cat Monty, I I try not to be too forward about it because I don't think I told my parents that I buried Thule in the backyard, and I mean, look, there's no smell or anything like that, obviously, but like, you know, sometimes when it's quiet, I'll go out to the backyard and I'll like, I know where she's buried, and I'll be like, miss you, hi, you know, um, yeah, I mean, you know, the phrase "the idle mind is the devil's playground," but like, the idle mind is also when memory tend to creep up on you. But that's what I'm saying. You can either embrace it and and love the memories, or you can be like, no, in which case it becomes something toxic that just brings you down. Um, but so like, yeah, I mean, some memories will never not be hard. Like, without wanting to be too graphic, but the experience of coming back into this apartment to Thule's dead body and just holding the carcass and excuse me, just holding her carcass and just crying and saying, like, just, I'm not ready to say goodbye. Come back. Um, that's never easy, but the you know, but like, there are so many moments I had with her that were just so much fun. Like, you know, um, when I moved into that apartment, I had a girlfriend at the time, and Thule was like, my my ex was very, my I don't want to speak ill of her, but we did argue a lot, and I wasn't the starter of these arguments. She was kind of a person who lived to argue a lot, and there was always something wrong. Um, you know, and so Thule will always be like my emotional support cat, where it's like, okay, shit's not going well with X. I'm not gonna say her name and bring that bad juju into the world. Also, her birthday was today, actually. So happy birthday to you. Hope you live to 120 like old, and have a great life. And thank you for when we broke up. Thank you for letting me keep the cats. Indeed, indeed, true builder. But yeah. Um, and yeah, and I guess here's where we get like way too real. The fuck? Oh, the buffoonery going on outside. Um, but somebody outside is top of the pyramid once again, 3 for 3. Did you hear that? Okay, the curiosity is killing me. Look, the cat. Meow. What kind of buffoonery is going on out here? Dude. dudes, it's not Saturday night. It's not Friday night. It's Sunday night. Shut the fuck up. People want to go to sleep. We got work tomorrow. Oh, that's so hard, Mustang. But yeah, that's what I was gonna say is, if you ever get to the point where you need to put the cat, where you need to put an animal down, stay with them until the end. Don't let them die alone. But yeah, that being said, most of my cats are on the younger side, or I don't know how old they are, and I hope I don't need to deal with a death in the kitty family or the human family anytime soon. I don't. Yeah, ex- yeah. Never. Don't let an animal die alone. All right, I guess the stream got real there for a second. So let's do some stupid shit. Um, but I think yeah, same here, Mustang. I'll be, that's part of what keeps us going is that, one might leave, but there are more cats that need us, and we need them. I think one thing from like I said, from a hits bong, let's get philosophical, man. Uh, type situation. I think a lot of people, you know, be like, oh, those cats depend on you. You know, those cats need your help, blah 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 blah. And yes, that all of that's true, but I also depend on the cats, and I think a lot of cat feeders depend on their cats for extra friendship, for a dopamine release on like the very like the this feeling of there's a certain happiness, a certain contentment that comes with doing something with no real expectation of you know doing something altruistically, I suppose. Um, and it's kind of a high. So the cats, so it's a symbiotic relationship. It's not as much of a one-way street as it might seem. And with that, having been way too serious for the past few minutes, would you guys mind if I took a dab for a second? Maybe y'all can join me. We can all be like, for the homies who are no longer with us, pour one out. Yeah, Mustang. Same here. My cats know when they see the Acura backing up, they run towards the car, which is like, which is like for me because my car's 20 years old with no backup camera. I need to go super slowly because I'm like, because I literally if I crunched one of the cats backing up, I'd just literally get out. Not actually, but like I would be inconsolable. And so yeah, like I have to go so slow because they run towards the car, and it's actually really my Acura. Before that, I had a yeah. I before that I had a Chevy Malibu. Piece of shit. Um, the very good looking car. In fairness, much better. I had a 2011 Chevy Malibu.
I'm not a GM guy, to be honest with you. I was brought home as a newborn in a Ford. My family, when they buy American cars, primarily own Fords. We had a detour into General Motors, and now Mazda Tribute. Holy smokes, Batman! You know why? I actually love Mazdas, but the Tribute is a hunk of junk, and you know why? Because it was developed by Ford, and not in like the good days of Ford, in the like we make shit early 2000s days of Ford. Dudukata. But like, yeah, I used to have a Chevy Malibu. It was a 2011. It was gunmetal gray, and I have to say that generation of Malibu, I think it was from like '08 to like 2012 or something like that, were exceptionally good-looking cars. Like compared to the Camry or Accord or I don't know if the Taurus or maybe no, it was the Fusion back then. Um, I mean, Ranger. Know this truck. I know stranger. I know that truck. That's a Ford fucking Ranger. Ford Ranger. All right. But but yeah, that Chevy was a really good looking car, especially in the gunmetal gray with like mine had slightly upgraded rims that just it looked fantastic. Peugeot or Peugeot. So there are that's a French car, yeah. Me personally, I'm more of a Citroen guy. I love quirky cars, so Citroen is like I don't new probably, used absolutely not. I know exactly which dent you're talking about, man. I know the Camry dent very well. But yeah. The problem with the Camry, I mean, look, if it were me and my money and I were buying a new sedan in 2025, first off, I wouldn't have much of a choice. But, like, yeah, I'd probably buy an Accord or a Camry at this point in time. But, like, back in 2011, the Malibu was a good car, but you had to get the V6 and you had to get some options. Mine was the four-cylinder Ecotec, and it was a former Enterprise Rent-A-Car car. So while it looked very good on the exterior, it was an all black plastic interior with black cloth seats. God damn, it was depressing to be inside that car. Just they like just a little bit of like fake wood or like a little bit of like just some two tone on the plastics, just black plastic. It was like being inside, like, I don't know. It I don't know if Christy Nome decided to become a friggin' coal miner. Like black plastic, that's what it is. Um, but no, not scratched actually. Like amazingly, surprisingly in good condition. I will say one thing though, the body side, the body wasn't that bad, but the problem with that generation of Malibu was that the front, it was, like most family cars, front wheel drive with a long, like a massive front overhang. And God damn, every single driveway you went over, scrape the front bumper, scrape the front bumper, scrape the front bumper. So yes, at some point the bumper did get replaced because the entire like underside was just bare plastic because there was no paint or primer left from all that scraping, 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 scraping. So yeah. Ho- So I think there was actually a great like top tier segment, or maybe it was Grand Tour, I don't know, where Jeremy Clarkson and James May were discussing Peugeot and how they used to make some of the best cars in the world, but about 20 years ago they were just like, we will make the car out of spit and Kleenex. Oh, we baguette. Um, And yeah, that's that, and it's even worse now because now Citroen is part of Stellantis. So now they're in cahoots with Chrysler, the worst of the American manufacturers. Good grief, people. One second, I'll be right back. So I've never had a Subaru personally, but my brother's wife, um, she has an Outback now that she's kind of on, and my grandfather, may he rest in peace. Ah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, my grandfather was a Subaru man pretty much my entire life. When I was very young, can't remember there was a 91 or a 92, but yeah, my grandfather had a 91 Legacy. He replaced that with a 97 Nissan Maxima, piece of shit. Um, then he had an '05 Legacy, an '08 Outback, and a 2012 Legacy. Yeah. Um, the one Some of them were great, some of them, yeah. Yeah, my best ca to be honest with you, so in my driving career, like, and I mean, here's the thing, I've only ever actually had the pink slips to 2 cars, my Malibu and my current car, the Acura, but, like, I had 2 cars, but they were owned by my parents when I was younger. So, the car I learned to drive in, still my favorite car that I've ever had. The best car that I've ever owned, without a doubt. Well, first off, it's an A or B question, and between the Malibu and my Acura, there is no question. The Acura is such a better car. It doesn't matter that it's 10 years older. It's better. Like I upgraded by switching to a car that was older. Um, yeah. Um, but still a favorite car, my favorite car that like, and there's my other cars I miss to a degree. I miss mine, um, but the car I learned to drive on was a 2001 Volvo V70 station wagon. God, I love that car. Yeah, I loved my Volvo station wagon. It was unreliable, to be honest with you, because it was made during the time that Volvo was owned by Ford. Why was Same time Mazda was owned by Ford on that note. And it was just like, we're going to make the crappiest cars possible, and we're going to make them on brands that historically make good cars. Why? But yeah, that Volvo, I yeah, I loved my Volvo wagon. Thing was roomy as hell. It was the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in belong to Volvo. Just Volvo seats. If you have not sat in a Volvo, especially a more recent one, and by more recent, I mean within the last 25 years, obviously, do it. Volvo seats are the best. Like no car manufacturer in the world has better seats than Volvo. I will die on this hill. Um, but also, um, yeah, it's so comfortable, just user friendly as hell. From like, yeah, from like like just the ergonomically great. And just so practical. Just everything about that Volvo was great. I loved it. First off, it sat seven because it had the backwards facing third row jump seat in the trunk. Those are awesome, and they build character. I'm sorry, but the fact of the matter is that when I was a young kid, I had to sit in the back of the car with my brother in that little fucking jump seat in the trunk, going looking backwards at people, going, not to get all boomer in me like kids these days, but kids in minivans and SUVs where the third row faces forward don't get that experience. That experience builds character and makes you a better person. Oh, don't get an Audi. Oh no. Oh no. Espe- yeah, my POV is that in the 21st century, German cars are to lease, never to buy. Because I mean, honestly, in general, because there's so much technology in cars, and technology is inherently subject to like planned obsolescence and whatnot. But like uh, I struggle to think of any new car in 2025 that Oh, I know exactly what CVT you're talking about. It's the same CVT that's in my grandfather's car, which I've driven several times. I hate that CVT. It sounds like a rubber band. Mm. The only thing I like about that CVT is that it does have exceptional engine braking if you flip paddle shift it. I'll say that. Um, but so yeah, but like CVT's gross. Sorry, gross. Um, yeah, my uncle had a bunch of Foresters in his life. All of them. And the other thing I don't particularly like about Subaru is that Subaru, when they're cold and you crank it, they start idling like super high. They're like they shoot right up to like 1,500, 2,000 RPM. Uh, to like warm up the engine faster, but that just means in the morning when you start it up, especially if you or like if you're like me and you're a bit nocturnal sometimes and you're like, I want to like I need to do like a midnight, 7-Eleven run. I'm like, I'm not trying to wake up the whole fucking neighborhood over here, people. Yeah, and it's a four-cylinder boxer engine making four-cylinder boxer at 2,500 RPM noises. It's not inspiring. Okay, Bosch Bosch, agreed. However, I'm actually Israeli American, surprise. But yes, free Palestine, agreed. But let's keep the politics out of the chat in general. Although I'm gonna say one thing, baby. Um, it's a very complicated thing for me to be like, but yeah, back to cars, because we're not getting sidetracked with this thing. But yes, agreed. But also, also, it's a complicated time to be me. Put it to you that way. Um, uh, you know, especially when my dad, like as he gets older and more boomer pilled, is moving right of right. w- The Iran thing is like a I don't know. I I I, I I you know I don't very very rarely does one person uh no, I'm not going to get too ADD on this one, but very rarely does one person become uh or like very rarely in politics can one person addition or a removal, um, you know, change things drastically. But when I tell you that Bibi Netanyahu and what he represents for Israeli politics is a cancer that is eating that country from the inside, I've seen it and experienced it. Like, here's the thing. The, the existence of Israel itself is a very complicated thing, and I think given time and like the intellectual headspace to discuss it, I think they could, you know, work shit out. But Bibi and his movement is not only murderous and xenophobic, it's also criminal. It's it's um it's um you know and he's a cancer that has effectively you know managed via creative maneuvering to completely eat away at the very democracy of Israel, and he's completely there is no more functioning left in Israel. Like, I mean, the Labor Party of Israel, which used to be a major party, is persona non grata, and the last Labor prime minister was in the 90s. Um, you know, so yeah, but yeah, um, the Iran thing is complicated. I look, I don't appreciate, you know, at the same time that I say yes, free Palestine, I really don't appreciate Iran helping its Triple H brigade with Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. Like, come on, like I don't, I'm not in favor necessarily of that. You know, oh, you wouldn't believe how many parties they have. They're a parliamentary democracy, so they have tons of parties. The problem is of them suck ass. Like Likud is like a, a modern day like MAGA party, like a crazy like right wing shit, you know. Um there's the religious Jewish parties. There's the one for the Ashkenazi Jews, and there's the one for the Sephardic Jews. So there's yeah, and like all of these parties have sub parties, by the way. Um Like, so yeah, so the major party, which is headed by Likud or by Netanyahu, is the Likud party, uh, and then there is the Israeli Labor Party, Havodah, um, but they're very minor. These I don't even know if they have any ministers. Uh, a lot of my family belong to a party called Meretz. That's an extremely left wing party. Yeah, they used to. They usually get about between 3 and 8 prime ministers or ministers in the Knesset, in the parliament. Um, so but they're like but yeah, they're very like, you know, so yeah, there's that. There's a couple of Arab parties. There's Tal, there's Ram, uh, that represent that, um, so there's that. There's, there's yeah. I mean, Starmer is like a moof guy, but like as far as I see, he's what they got when after what seems like a decade of mismanagement by the Tories. So that's my read on it, but I don't know. But like, but yeah, as far as Starmer seems like a wet blanket of sort. He's a warm blanket to head the party, or yeah, or not warm blanket. He's a warm body. A lot like Biden was in the beginning of his term, not towards the end when he was like, an invalid practically. I mean that's what like that's the thing. That's the thing with modern day politics is that you either get a demagogue like Netanyahu or Putin or Trump or any of these types, or you get a warm body like Starmer, like Biden, like Trudeau, like Obama, you know, the people who talk a lot but accomplish not a whole heck of a lot, you know. But anyways, but yeah, back. Okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, but also yeah, what other Israeli political party? Oh, there's also Yisrael Beitenu, which caters specifically. Um, well, I mean, he has no opposition because he killed them all. But uh, you know, Navalny was his opposition, but or like that dude who got the ricin attack, like, yeah, the opposition is Ukraine, Slava Ukraini. Um, But yeah, but yeah, but speaking of Russia, but yeah, Yisrael Beitenu actually is a political party that caters specifically to the interests of Russian Jews. Um, they do actually. They do have a green party that um they're kind of like a eco-communist party. They're called Kadash, which is Hebrew for new. And they're 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 big on you know, I mean that's the thing. Israel in theory has a big communist backing, like the whole kibbutz movement of like, let's make the desert bloom via collective farming or whatever. There is, historically speaking, Israel was a very socialist state. That's how it started. But, at least in the theory. Where are the cats? I don't know. Oh, all right. They're around. Let's do a cat check in. Actually, and then pretty soon I'm gonna need to go and you came for the pussy. Give me a sec, CJ Jam 80. I'm schmoo we've been schmoozing. I give you cat. Emily. Emily says hello. Oh, Beep Blue! You came out! Baby Blue, I didn't even notice you. Look at this baby Blue. Baby Blue. Oh, back to the see. He's the one thing I've noticed is that he's so used to me being like, you got to stay in the you got to stay in the room, so that like when he sees me, he's liable to go. Yeah, exactly. He thinks he's in trouble. I should have let. But yeah, see, he's starting to explore. Baby Blue, Baby Blue, good boy, Baby Blue, Baby Blue, Baby Blue, good boy, oh, Baby Blue, bonk, Baby Blue, Baby Blue. Uh, Baby Blue. He's such a good boy. Baby Blue.
Baby blue. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mustang. Baby blue. This cat's name is Baby Blue. 'Cause he's my little baby and he has blue eyes. Baby Blue. Baby Blue. Little Baby Blue. Baby Blue. Baby Blue. Baby Blue. Baby Blue.
Yeah, it's definitely a recessive gene. Um, you see it a lot in like Siamese cats, especially. They have like piercing blue eyes, whereas baby blue's got more of more of a like a velvet underground, pale blue eyes situation. But you know what's even rarer than blue is apparently copper. Like deep, deep, deep copper is rarer than blue. And Hold on, hold on, hold on. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Where's Hey son, where's your brother? Hey son, oh, there he goes. Well, he is very shy, but he has copper colored eyes, like deep copper eyes. If I have a photo of him on my iPad. Hey, Leash. Nah, I only have Sunny. All right. Hi, girl. This is the thing. I wish I could like. I have a tons of pictures of him on this phone where I'm streaming from. This phone. Um, Hi, girl. Dude, the David go looking for the copper. Yet, approach him carefully. To be stricken. Hey, Saul. Uh, I live on an urban farm. Yeah, he's a big scaredy cat. He's ki- he complicates things because I insist on him and his sister being adopted as a bonded pair. Beep. Um, but she's way more social than he is. So it's like when many cats. Okay, okay, well, you know what's funny is he he this kitty cat um y'all, I literally made a joke earlier about how I can't read Cyrillic, and now some dude shows up in Cyrillic. Yo! Oh, that's easy. It's Dimitri. Is that somehow I feel like that's a bad word. Okay, CJ Gem 80, you have guessed incorrectly, sir. Would you, or madam, or incredible technicolor rainbow in between? Would you like to go for guess number two? Not Ohio. Guess three. You get five guesses. Madam, can I send Marble Cat to Australia? Silvana knows, but I thank you for not spoiling the fun. I'm enjoying this. Um, I'll give you a hint since you're running low on guesses. You're on the wrong coast. Um, Sending Marble Cat to Australia. That might be difficult, but yeah, I know. I really need to cut my hair, dude. I like legit. If it gets any longer, they're gonna make me put on a hairnet at work, and that's gonna suck. All right, keep guessing. Oh, ding, 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 ding. California was the correct answer. Yeah. So what? One of my longtime viewers works as at a rescue, um, in British Columbia in Canada, and they get a lot of their uh, apparently they get a lot of their cats transported to them from Los Angeles. So so I've been in I got in contact with them. I never really like I haven't there's a few more I need to get make sure that the I need to basically get make sure that Marble Cat has a clean bill of health to get him transported across the border. But yeah, because I think he, I'm making very good progress with his socialization, but there's not that much more that I can do. And he's very, very feisty. So it would be better for the colony's cohesion, perhaps, to remove him. He's actually one of the more recent additions. He was, uh, he was dumped there, um, at some point. I don't know, or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, he just showed up one day. Uh, but like when I first started coming visiting the colony, Marble Cat wasn't there. Like most of the other cats you see at that like in on video, Baby Blue, Fats, Big V, all the gray cats, Winston, Tatiana, all these cats were there when I first found the colony. Marble Cat was not. He showed up. Yeah. But he's very feisty, so it might be better for the colony's overall cohesion, and also for like, you know, also for the companies there because he does a lot of like the play very like he engages in a lot of rough play, which ends up with more, you know. So just, over it might be overall better to remove him. Um, not to mention he scared Fats away, I think, and I miss Fats at the main colony. Fats is awesome. All right. With that being said, it's quarter after one, y'all. And my laundry finished, and I do need to go take it out before somebody pulls it out for me and throws it on the friggin' nasty ass uh like communal table, which is full of dust and shit. So, and also I'm tired, and it takes an hour to dry well, that's not gonna take an hour, but it's gonna take at least a half hour to dry the shit, and it's already a quarter after one, and I have work tomorrow. It's weird, Silvana. Sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. I don't know. Uh, what kills me is that some dude from Um, in the immediate aftermath of the fires in LA in the beginning of the year, some dude got in touch with me from Arizona and actually offered to adopt Fats. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. Like he's very friendly. I'm making great progress with him, you know? And we had it all set up, and then the dude back messaged me and it was like, actually, he seems like he gets along really well there and he's a good shop cat or something like that. And I was like, look, I can't convince you. Look, that's your decision, but the reality is that yeah, he's in the colony and all that, but he would be so much better in somebody's house. And like now he's off on his own where it's much harder to be like, okay. So yeah. But I mean, so yeah, that kind of sucked for the fat situation. But I mean, look, some things work out for the better. Cause like I was gonna give that person who ended up ghosting me, I was gonna give that person baby blue. And then I wouldn't have had baby blue in my life anymore other than being like, hey, how's he been? I love that I'm using a bump hammer right now as my like phone stand in. Um, how is baby blue? Health-wise too, like, can you imagine adopting out a cat and then and the person takes it to the vet and is like, "Oh, he's got chlamydia." Oops. Like, that's the other thing. Fats has a much cleaner bill of health than baby blue. Fats is a very healthy cat. Marble Cat's pretty healthy too, but I definitely think he's got some conjunctivitis. So, we might have to like to get him adopted, we might have to like put him in the same quarantine as baby blue. I'll give him like a week course of terramycin, take him to the vet to make sure his like vaccinations are up to date and whatnot, and then get him shipped off to elsewhere. But first, I got to get Sunny and Sully adopted. That's the real, like, I need those two out of my life, which is going to suck because I enjoy their presence a lot, but I cannot afford to have this many cats in my house at all times. Like, but anyways, I was going to say, now it's almost 20 after one. I need to go pull those friggin' bar towels out of the washing machine and throw them in the dryer, assuming there's a dryer available, which is also like assuming facts not evidence. But either way, I'm gonna leave. Thank you all for showing up and keeping me from falling asleep. But now y'all are just keeping me from getting the clothes in the dryer. So appreciate big thank you to all of y'all. Thank for hanging around. And I will catch y'all on the flippity flip. I'm not gonna make any promises about next week's live stream because it remains up in the air. I had one scheduled for 2 p.m. today, and then I had to cancel it because I got called into work. And like I said, money's tight. So like the fact that I was able to like work a full 8 hours is helpful to me personally. But that being said, thanks to y'all because y'all are awesome. Anyways, thank you for staying around. Good night, and I'll end it with my usual. Bye.